Hello everybody. So today I'm going to teach you how to do a single point track. What this can be used for things like titles um, that stick to the video. So here's an example. So as the camera's moving, the title is sticking to that rock right there. So a couple things. Just keep in mind, if you're ever curious what size your video is, if you select the video, it says the dimensions right here. We're using 1920 by 1080, so that'll come in handy later when we render our final animation. So in Blender, when you open it up, this is what it looks like. We're not going to use any of this right now. You're going to click over here and go up to Movie Clip Editor because we want to track a movie clip. The easiest way is if you grab your movie clip, you can drag it right on top and use your middle mouse button to zoom in and zoom out. So by default, Blender is set to 250 frames, the first frame to 250. But if you want to know exactly how long your clip is, in the movie clip editor, if you go up to the track tab up here, you can go to set scene frames and watch what happens down here. If I set the scene frames, it jumps up to 282. So I want to point out a few things. Notice how some of this is kind of faded blue and some of this is brighter blue. That is Blender saving the frames into the program. So all of those frames that are bright blue have been saved by Blender onto your computer, and the reason it's doing that is it helps it play back faster. But as you brighten up more blue frames, the memory up here goes up. So watch as I slide through, the memory just goes up and up and up. And the computers we're using, the max is about 1,000 megabytes. So it's kind of limited, but typically what you do is you prefetch. You want to save as many frames as possible. So if I click prefetch, this memory is going to go up to about 1,000, and we're getting more and more blue, and then, well, it should stop right about there on the computers at school. And what this helps with, once these are saved, it helps with the tracking of these markers that we're going to add. So let's go back to the beginning of the clip. If you just type 1 down here and enter, it goes to the first frame, and we want to add a track. So make sure you have your track tab selected, and we want to add a marker. We click the button, nothing happens. Well, now we have to click on the image where we want to add the track. So the best places to add the track are like where there's contrast, so where something looks darker than its surroundings or brighter. So I see some places right here that look good, so I click that, and there's what it places a marker there, and this is the image it's going to want to copy. So if I go and push play to track that selected area, you can see it tries to copy that image. It tries to copy that picture from frame 1 as the clip plays through. But as you saw at about frame 77, we lost the track. So what you can do at that point is you can click it, and if you push G to grab it, you can move it back up to where it was, and then push play again, and it'll keep tracking. Now this type of track, as you scroll through, it often loses its track. We could try to finish this up. Oop. Let's see. Play forward. It's doing pretty good. So it lost its track. I'm going to G to grab it and push play. Okay, so now when we play through the whole clip, if we go back to the beginning and push play, we can see that that marker sticks to that rock. And actually you can watch it up here and you can see that it jumps a little bit. So it's not perfect because those jumps are going to show up in your final animation. So let's try tracking this again. Push X with the marker selected, push X and delete the track. Go back to the beginning frame, and instead we're gonna, before we add the marker, we're gonna change some settings right here. And right now it's set to keyframe, which means wherever you place the marker, it's going to try to match the original, it's going to try to match this original picture as much as possible. But instead, if we switch this, instead of to keyframe, to previous frame, here, and then let's say add marker, and we'll click it right there, and I'm going to hit G to move that marker up to there. And if we track it now, it should, with one attempt, it tracked the whole way through. And the reason it does that is instead of trying to match it to this frame, it's just trying to match it to what the frame looked like before. So we'll see if we'll go back to the beginning and see how smooth that is. So it's still a little jumpy, but it'll work. So the next step is we're going to split this view and go back to that original view. So if you go up here, you see these, the corner of the window. If you click and drag down, now I have two of the same window. And if I go back to this movie clips editor selection, I'm going to go to 3D view. If I push down on the middle scroll wheel, it's a button, and I can orbit around that cube. But we're going to delete that, so select the cube and push X and choose delete. And now, back in our movie clip editor, we want to turn that tracking point into some sort of object. So if I go to the solve button, I go to geometry, I'm going to link an empty object to this tracking marker. And there, now if I go back and push play, this marker, this tracking marker, or this empty object moves where the tracking marker is. I'm going to pause it, but how do we know? So if you push 0 on your number pad, and scroll down here to set this video as background, I'm going to collapse this video. Just right click on this edge, join area, and you can join that. So now if I push play, we can see that that marker is sticking to that track as this plays through.